So how typically would a sale go with them? For the most part, what I've seen, number one, they're going to want to buy at least 51% of your organization. They're
Yep.
going to want control. And that's generally what I've seen, is that they just want to have control, but they want to keep you there. And I think this would fit people that want to grow and that are still in the game, but just aren't good at hiring, establishing leadership, goal setting, really big expand. And you know what? Not everyone's built that way.
No.
No,
they might be great at treating, but they're not great at growing a business.
Yeah.
And they're basically partnering with someone who is.
That's right. That's all you're doing. You're partnering with someone that's really good on the systems and management and leadership side.
Yep.
Okay. And, I've seen plenty of people that have, for whatever reason, it's not their thing. Like, they're good at getting new patients in the door. They're good at treating new patients. They're good at that part of it. They have excellent goodwill.
Yep.
But it's the other part. It's the growth and expansion. They're just, and quite frankly, the financial management of the money, they don't have anything to do with.
Yep.
At all. So
very true.
If you're in that position, like if you're close to burnout and retirement, that's not really a strategy, I don't think.
Yeah, no, this isn't something that you do to exit in a year. This is something that you do, probably for a 5 to 10 year exit would be my gut,
Yes. But I think that going that route, like if you still want to grow and stay on, instead of selling to corporate who will say the exact same thing, well, we can do that for you. But they really don't.
Yeah, there's a way to do it privately as well.
Yeah, they really don't. So, in that case, now valuation wise, you're not going to get the same valuation that you would get from a big private equity group.
No.
So, let's say that a private equity group was giving you like an 8 multiple. Well, I think in a deal like that, you're probably looking at more like a 5 to 6, somewhere around
at best.
At best. If you have
at best. I was going to say 3 to 4.
It could be, depending on your profitability and your practice and all the things that need to get fixed. But in that case,
I guess 4 to 5. Yeah, 3 to 4 is probably a little low. 4 to 5. Yeah, I think I want to settle up.
Do you want to apologize to everybody for your
well, I was kind of just thinking about private sales, and I wasn't really thinking about like a big buyer in a private sale. So it's a step above.
It's a step above. So I think that is, but again, there's a lot of good that can come out of that. You can grow, you can expand, you can start other locations, you can really do your thing, but you don't have to worry about, it's almost like hiring a management company for like real estate. You don't have to deal with the tenant toilets and trash. In this case, you don't have to deal with, a lot of employee issues and benefits. You don't have to deal with payroll. You don't have to deal with, I think those things that all you have to do is make sure that you're, training your associates and your providers really, really well, that you're producing and that you grow. And look, you can sell your practice to them for a 5 to 6 multiple. And I can assure you the game for them, 8 to 10 years down the line is to sell for a 9 to 10 multiple.
Yeah.
So it really can be a great strategy if you find the right strategic buyer in your industry of someone that's doing that. Yes. And it doesn't take that much to do. Okay. Then the other option I think is
internal.
Is just an internal sale,
which is generally going to be to another associate or therapist.
Yeah.
Although I did have one a couple of years ago where it was owned by a doctor, and then he sold it to his associate and his office manager, 50-50.
Okay.
It's kind of unique, but it was still an internal sale. I mean, it really doesn't matter, I guess, at the end of the day. But yes, an internal. So internal sales, which, look, if you're in a position where you don't need the practice to sell
for top dollar to fund your retirement, and you've taken care of your stuff along the way. And maybe you own the building, and you'll have that as a rental income source. And like, well, I guess my point is where you're like not forced to have to sell the practice for top dollar,
Yeah,
to retire well.
I think if people had the choice, if people had the financial freedom,
Yep.
I would say 99% of our clients would choose to sell to an associate over corporate.
There's no doubt. And this
No doubt.
actually is going to be the only solution for a lot of people that only have one to two doctor practices, or maybe only have like maybe 4 to 5, therapists or providers on staff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, single doctor, low therapist count practices are not going to be attractive to corporate. So
they're going to get to a point where they just draw a line where like, no, they probably already have to some degree.
Oh yeah, they're not buying single doctor practices at all.
No.
So you've got to find an associate or someone to buy you out.